I recently traveled to Germany to visit family, and some of the cities I visited included Essen, Cologne, Mannheim City, Bottrop, and Leverkusen. Based on my experience, here are key travel tips you should know before traveling to Germany. So, tip number one: while Germany is a beautiful country with beautiful attractions, it's important to note that its train system is not the best. So, depending on the trips that you're thinking of making within the border, and depending on which mode of transportations you're thinking of taking, it's important to note that the train system in Germany can be delayed from as little of 25 minutes to an hour, or even sometimes more than an hour. So, for example, in my case, I needed to take the train to commute from Essen to Mannheim City, and the distance of this trip was, according to Google Maps, about 3 hours and 30 minutes. Even if I woke up early to go to Essen Central Station so that I could take a train, I ended up arriving at my destination almost 6 hours later because my first train was delayed and then my second train was delayed by about 25 minutes, which ended up affecting the schedule of my other trains, right? So, this is something that you have to keep in mind. Depending on where you want to go, just know that the train system can be delayed. So, what are some of the apps that you can use to purchase tickets if you're thinking of using Germany's public transportation? So, the first option is the app called DB, which stands for Deutsches Bahn, which is Germany's primary rail operator. And on this app, you can purchase tickets depending on where you want to go across Germany, and it gives you tickets that you can use to travel anywhere in Germany. Now, I do believe that they offer a monthly pass for users, but in my case, I experienced that when I wanted to purchase the monthly pass of a ticket so that it could give me unlimited access to Germany's public transportation, the app was telling me to pay via a specific card that I believe people that live in Germany have access to. And because I was a tourist, I couldn't pay using that card, right? Even if I entered my payment method using PayPal, the app just wouldn't let me. So, what I ended up doing is I would purchase separate tickets on the app for specific itineraries that I wanted to make. But when it came to purchasing the annual pass, I couldn't. So I don't know if this is going to be the case for you. I don't know if it's just something that I missed or overlooked on the app, but just keep in mind that there is a possibility that you won't be able to purchase the monthly pass on the app. So the second way you can buy tickets for public transportation in Germany is by downloading the app 𝐅𝐈𝐍𝐃. So the way the app works is when you are thinking of taking, let's say, a bus or a train within a specific city in Germany, then you check in the app, and the app will calculate the distance that you made using public transportation. And by the end of your trip, or your by the end of the time you have finished using public transportation, you can check out on the app, and the app will automatically calculate how much you have to pay for the trip that you made. So it was a very effective way for me to purchase tickets without necessarily having to go through ticket or purchasing machines, or getting into any kind of problems. So that's another option, but do keep in mind that the app, it doesn't really work if you're taking very long distances, or if you're going to be using the train system DB. So if you're thinking of taking train systems that are very fast, the app is not going to be able to calculate how much it costs you uh, based on that trip that you take using the fast train, right? So it's just important to keep that in mind. But other than that, that's another option. And another option that I used was Google Maps, especially for walking distant trips. If I wanted to go to a market in town, or a place in town, and it was like maybe 30 minutes or an hour away from where I lived, then I would just use Google Maps to help me get by. So those are the options I propose. And the second tip that I also recommend if you're thinking of traveling to Germany anytime soon is to be aware of Germany's traffic regulations, especially when it pertains to pedestrian crossings. So the thing that I noticed about Germany is that when you are about to cross on the road as a pedestrian, usually the green lights that signals that pedestrians can cross on the road, the way Germany's like traffic regulations function is that when you're crossing the road, the green light that allows pedestrians to cross, there are no countdown of seconds to signal how much time you have left to cross on the road. And this was something that I was not used to because, as somebody who lives in Canada, for example, if you're watching this video and you live in Canada, maybe you can relate. Like when you're crossing on the road, usually there's a countdown of like seconds that you have left to cross the road before the walking signal turns red or something like that, right? But in Germany, that really wasn't the case. 1 second, the traffic light will blink green, and if let's say I'm crossing on the road, it would turn red when I'm right in the middle of the road. So that was something that I wasn't really quite used to. But it shows the fact that I'm just not used to living there. Maybe with time, it's something I'll get used to. But that's just something to keep in mind. So tip number 3 is to keep in mind that everything in Germany, depending on where you're located, is going to be in German. From road signs to restaurants to tourist attractions and many more. So I'll give an example. I When I visited the Brühl Palace, located in the town of Brühl in Germany, in the North Rhine of Westphalia, to access the castle, you need to take a tour guide. And the entire time, the tour guide was speaking in German. So this is something to keep in mind. When I visited public places in Germany, for the most part, some of my family members that live in Germany were with me and they helped to translate some of the things that were there. But when I visited public places on my own in Germany, I relied on a translation app. So a tip that I can give is that before you even travel to Germany, just learn basic questions to ask in German. This is something that I didn't do. I neglected that and I regretted it a bit after the trip. But yeah, just learn how to ask basic questions in German to locals. Or if you're not interested in learning the language, then you can download the app, the translation app, DeepL. I believe that's how you pronounce the app. And no, this video is not sponsored by them. And the app really helped me a lot. Like when I was in public spaces, I used it a lot to translate a lot of road signs or restaurant menus or just tourist attractions like instruction panels. It was very helpful. Tip number 4, depending on where you're from, just keep in mind that the euro currency is high. The value of the euro currency is high. And whenever I found myself converting the euro currency to my home currency, my bank accounts always ended up crying. So for example, I come from Canada, so when you're converting the euro currency to the Canadian dollars, it ends up being more than I have to pay. So this is something to keep in mind. And an app that I used a lot to really help me convert the euro currency to Canadian dollars is the calculator that is offered on the iPhone if you're an iPhone user. So this really helped me a lot to make currency converts, right? And this is a technique I found on TikTok by a traveling user. So thank you for that tip. And yeah, this is something that you should keep in mind because sometimes when we're buying a lot of things in euro, we may not realize how much it's going to cost us when we convert it to our home currency. So this is a very helpful technique that I used a lot when I was there. Tip number 5 is to keep in mind that grocery shopping is relatively affordable in Germany. So this is something that really surprised me. I found out that something like a body lotion cream in retail stores in Germany could cost between 2 to maybe 3 euros. And this is something that I was surprised about because in my home country, the cost of living is very high, grocery shopping is very high. So, knowing this, what I did is the week before leaving Germany, I went to the retail store DM that sells cosmetic products, home products, and so many other products there, organic as well. So I went to that store and I bought a lot of these products from body lotion to cosmetics so that when I come back home in Canada, I won't have to pay them for a higher price. So this is something to keep in mind. When you're in Germany, you can also do those like shoppings maybe the night before you travel back to your home country. And yeah, it would save you a lot of money. So the final tip that I want to give is to get an eSIM card when you're in Germany. So when you're not going to be home, I recommend you get an eSIM card. And I got my eSIM card valid for 30 days so I could access Wi-Fi when I wasn't home by getting this eSIM on the app called Klook. So I believe the app provides eSIM cards that you can use that could be valid from as little as 15 days to 30 days to maybe, I think, more than that. So yeah, this is something that I needed to get because I had to commute a lot and I needed to rely on Google Maps to know where I was going, and I needed an eSIM card, and Klook was able to offer that for me. So this is the final tip I could provide. And yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. If you recently traveled to Germany and you have tips that you think might be helpful for some of those that are watching this video, then please don't hesitate and share in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.